All right. So, what up, y'all? So, okay. This yesterday, today's what, Tuesday? Last night, man, what a great talk I had. So my boy, he joined the Discord last night, and we had a great conversation for Mental Health Monday yesterday. We talked for about 2 hours in total, a little over 2 hours. The first hour of the episode was me. My brother joined the Discord for a little bit. We talked, and then the last 2 hours, me and him just talked about just a bunch of different things. Let me see. I have it all here. I wrote it down. Talked about gaining weight, being a kid, being a parent, failure, dependence, happiness, money. The final things we talked about is going to be the clip that I'm actually going to show right here. So we got to the conversation of basically it was the question of what both of our opinions are on what do we think that love is? What does it mean? How do you know that you love somebody? What is the your dynamic of a relationship mean? Uh, what is your ideal dynamic between a man and a woman? What does all that mean? I really just wanted to highlight this part of the conversation specifically. I may post other parts as well. But yeah, I just thought this was just really interesting. Just great guy, man. Just, I mean, absolutely just conscious. I mean, just forward thinker. I mean, just got a mind of his own. I love talking to people like this, man. I mean, and hopefully, he can join for more episodes because it was just a really great talk. And yeah, so please enjoy. Please watch the whole thing if you can. And then also comment down below or DM me on what your opinion is on this. What do you think what does love mean to you? Because I know sometimes it's hard to put into words, but you know, I extend that question to all of you as well. And if you would like to join one of these days or one of these Mondays, please just let me know or DM me. I'd love to hear from different people on different subjects, see what they just see their whole mindset behind it. I also want to get some women's perspective on things too, because it's different when guys are talking about like relationships and stuff like that and what it means to us. But I would love to hear things from a woman's perspective as well. So yeah, please enjoy this little part of our convo. Yeah, enjoy. Another
Yeah.
thing that, speaking of like happiness and another emotion that you can't really buy, that I wanted to talk about was like love. And the same thing with happiness, like the same questions like what is it? What does it mean? How does one come across it? And like and there's many ways, but love is, and this is like, and I mean not I'm not talking about like family love or
Mhm.
love for objects. I'm talking about like, you know, women wise, like, well, because we're guys, but in people, like in relationships, and like what does that mean? Like how does
Mhm.
like what is
Like, what does it mean to
what is
find out?
love, like what is like
That's
what is it, like when someone asks, like when someone says like, oh man, like I'm in love, or like I love this person, like what
oh,
does
like
that
that.
mean? Like what is, and what does it mean to
Um,
like love somebody? Like what does that entail? What does that mean for you to do? What does that come
I
with?
think it.
Like, you know,
Uh huh.
so it's tough. It's tough to
That
think
kind
about
of love.
sometimes.
It
It's,
is.
it's
Um,
something like sometimes like you can't even explain, right? It's something like
yeah.
you just feel like you just know,
Yeah.
right? It's so
See, that's
hard to like words sometimes. You just know.
at in moments like that. I don't think we should blame ourselves. We should blame the English language for being useless and not giving us more words to be able to describe it.
Well, isn't that the beauty of it though? Also,
Maybe.
is that sometimes
They
it's
they
you
often
can't
say
explain it.
English. They often say English is not not particular, like there's so many other languages that like have words for like things that English doesn't have words for. So
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like the limitations, or the limitations of language in general.
yeah,
You can't always express how you feel.
yeah,
And I think loving someone, like that one person, I think it means different things to different people.
yeah.
It depends on their situation. It's there's a stereotypical boy meets girl, girl meets boy, kumbaya type of shit.
Yeah, yeah, the fairy tale stuff.
The fairy tale stuff,
Yeah.
but fairy tales, they're not really, you know,
I mean, it
they're
can
not real.
happen. I've seen, I,
It
you
can.
know, I've seen, I've
You
seen
know,
some, but
you
a
know,
lot
not,
of times
not
it's your own story. It's your own story. We make our own love stories. You know what I mean? And
in that
everybody's is
case,
different.
everyone is living their own fairy tale.
Yeah,
And it's up to you to be able to tell the story in a way that everyone else will find it appealing. Because I mean, if like look at some fairy tales, like look at Snow White. She falls asleep, random stranger comes up to her and kisses her. That's kind of creepy, if you put it that way. So but they knew how to. Snow White it's creepy when you put it simply.
Yeah.
But they told the story in a way that people bought into it, and Snow White came out in the movie came out in the 30s, but the story has been around, I think, since the 1800s. So,
yeah.
people have been telling that story for centuries now, or a century now. I think what I said after that was you should watch Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones does a great job at showing different types of love, because there are so many characters that they do a great job of. That show does probably the best job of any show in history of character development, because there's so many, and you care about all of them, and so many of them are in love, and they're all different. So,
what
I would
about?
definitely recommend.
So are you single right now?
What's up?
You're single right now?
No. I have a girlfriend.
Okay, so let's talk about in our own lives for a second. Like what?
Okay.
So what's your story then? What's your fairy tale then? How did you just come to the realization you're like, you know what? Like, yeah, I love this girl. Like, how did that happen for you?
I mean, that didn't happen right away when I met her, obviously. Yeah. See, now, like, it's hard to put into words.
See,
plus,
it's what Hey.
Yeah. I mean, okay, like, I've realized with me, it's like in my head, it's like when I think about the apocalypse, the first thing I think of are like the people I love the most.
Wow.
And when
death and destruction, huh? That's what makes.
So when I started thinking about it like that, and she was coming to my mind along with my family, that kind of helped. I'm like, okay, yeah, like if the city ever comes under siege, I'm going to her house, and she's coming with me.
Dude, I think like that too sometimes. That's crazy when you say you think about her and your family in the same thoughts.
Yeah.
That's dang. I've thought like that.
Like, I have a few friends who I care about too a lot. But like, there's like you think of the worst of the worst. Like, what could happen?
A zombie apocalypse, somebody bombing,
an apocalypse.
Yeah, like who would be the last person on? Like, if you could only see people like one more time, like who would you really like want to see?
Yeah.
Like one that, like, dude, wow.
Yeah.
Man.
It's. I guess it's as a person, like my dad is alive, obviously, but like my parents were divorced growing up. They're still divorced. So I only grew up with like women in the household. I grew up with my mom, my sister, my grandmother. So like I guess that's just as I've gotten older, my like the typical stereotypical man of the house wanting to protect women, wanting to protect the women in his life type of thing. So I guess when it got to that point where I'm like, this is a person you have to protect, Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't protect anyone else, but like, you know, it's like
Yeah,
it's like one of the first people that comes to your head.
of course.
You know,
Yeah.
I coach a lot of little girls. You know, I pray to God nothing ever happens. Like, you know, I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want to put that
Yeah,
out there.
yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
if something were to, I've like thought about it, man. I'm like fully prepared. I've thought about like the perimeter of the schools, you know, like what I would do, where I would tell the kids to go, and like where I would have to jump in. You know, I've thought about all of that very precisely.
Yeah.
You know, if I had my own gun, that would help. You know, um, you know, California, but yeah, you know, like I guess that's kind of like one way I think of it, like protecting those you love, you know?
Hmm. So for you, it's like you're you know what? Actually, like I think for me, it's like when I start to think of a person. Well, first they have to make the transition from friend to family, and that's one thing. I find the two. I hold the two very in two separate places. I've always had the mentality that friends are temporary, families forever. And when you cross that line between friend and family, like then you know you enter a different echelon of a relationship. And I'm talking about that also like with other people too, not just like someone you love. Like I have, you know, a friend circle who I consider family at this point. Like they've transferred over, they've crossed over that line now, and now that's what I consider them, family, because I feel like that they're there forever in my life, so long as, you know, nobody screws me over, of course. But you know, because I you know, I don't really, I'm not very patient when it comes to, you know, backstabbers and people like that, so I only give people one chance to prove that you're real and you're for me. If you're not, then you know that's you're out. There's no coming back from that. But yeah, so for me, I think go ahead. When it comes to love, I think for me it's something that you feel that it's God, I know, yeah, it is hard to explain. Yeah, you're right. It's but it's so itchy when you're thinking about it in your head. It's almost like you know what to say, but then like not the right things don't come out. It's like
it's not like, that much different from happiness. It comes
it just makes you happy. Yeah, like they just make you happy. Like, you know, like they just do things that you just, I don't know, to the point where even their presence just makes you happy. Like that's how
I guess that's another thing. Like there are moments where like they obviously piss you off.
Yeah.
But you know, like you still want what's best for them, and you still want, you know, you're still there, you know. Like with some people I've you know, we've fought and like we're not friends anymore. And then with other friends we fought and we've become stronger after our fights, you know. So it's I guess that's another thing. It's like you want to and are willing to stick through the hard times.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And then and when it's mutual, when you know it's mutual, that's another thing.
That's another thing. Like I was just saying, like I think when you having love for somebody or really loving someone is also like compromising too. Not compromising like yourself and not compromising who you are and stuff like that, but it's also like like
you know,
putting things
her dopey ass chick flick movie once in a while, you know.
Yeah, or like no, like I'm talking like even if it's about putting certain things, like when certain things that other people may find bad about someone, you don't. You can look past those things because, and I'm not saying like, you know, this person like freaking is a murderer behind the scenes and you don't care because you love them and you're blinded by love. I'm not talking about that, like on that level. But what I am saying is like, it's on a level of like, you don't care about the things that they either may find negative about themselves or like the things that other people like may find or be shallow about. Like you don't care about any of that because you
It's
love this person. Like it's beyond that
personal.
for you. Yeah, it's personal. It's
A lot of
beyond that
people
for
don't get
you.
it. A lot
Yeah,
of people
it's
don't
not
get it.
about that anymore. It's
It's
about
not supposed to be about everyone else.
yeah,
You know?
it's about y'all. It's about what y'all have. It's that's what it's about. And when you feel the same thing from that person, like when someone can look at you and you have all these negative things about yourself. Like for me, for instance, like I there's obviously like personal things like about myself that I feel like that a woman just would not be okay with or wouldn't like.
Yeah.
But then when you see that they do, or like when they don't, when that just doesn't matter to them and they think and they still feel the same way about you regardless, that really makes you, that hits you different, because it's like,
Yeah.
wait, like everybody else thought this but you don't. But it's
Yeah,
like it,
yeah.
and that kind of like, you know, that kind of really, you know, that
You know,
hits
there's
you
a
so
line.
different.
There's a line there somewhere, because like, you know,
Yeah.
there's having preferences,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then there's also kind of like doing things that are actively preventing you from becoming a better person.
Yeah.
Because like some people just, I guess, you know, like people prefer different women of, you know,
Yeah, of
race,
course. Hey, of course.
you know,
Yeah, everybody has a preference. Hey,
everyone has a preference.
I
of
got my
something.
favorite flavors too. You know, hey, it is
You know,
what it
everyone's
is.
got a preference.
Yeah,
You know,
hey.
a lot of people have multiple preferences. But then, you know, like let's say there's a girl who likes being submissive. You know, at what point is she just like kind of dating like guys who are just abusive and putting up with it,
Yeah,
you know?
okay, yeah. I see what you see. Yeah.
So, you know, it's
yeah.
there's a line somewhere. You
There's
know?
a line.
Like,
There's
for
definitely a
a
line.
girl who's likes being submissive is the wrong way of saying it. Like a girl who's just more shy.
Yeah.
Who's is just personality wise a bit more submissive. You know, at what point, so a person like her would need a man who takes care of her, because he realizes that, you know, she
Yes.
obviously he would help her.
Yes, exactly.
You know, like
you
his
see
goal
where you
shouldn't
fit
be-
in.
No,
We need to.
his goal wouldn't be to be her savior. Like, you know, it would be to help her come out of her own skin a little.
Yeah.
So she can like kind of be more like, you know, be able to look at the world with her, you know, with her head held high. But you know, it's like she would want somebody who wouldn't take advantage of her, you know, or that's the type of person that would be best for a girl like that.
Exactly.
You know, so a guy who's not. I mean, I know dudes that be dating. They be hunting girls that are like, just so they can manipulate and get their way,
dude.
You know?
Yeah.
And hey, some women are like that too. Like they purposefully prey on that beta male, you know, like
the simp. Yeah.
You know, yeah, sure, the simp. But you know, like they purposefully date these weak men who
If I was on Twitch, I would have got banned for saying that. Thank God.
Beta male?
No, simp.
Oh yeah, that was retarded. But
They banned that word. Yeah.
Yeah, you can say the N word.
Yeah.
You can say nigga. You can say negro. You can't say simp. You know.
Yeah, no.
You know.
You can be naked on stream though. You can do that.
Hey. Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah, Twitch is dumb. I hate
whatever floats.
Yeah,
I
you
know,
can't
there are women who do that. They date men who just so they can remain above somebody.
Take advantage of yeah. And
advantage,
yeah, that's where that line that's where the line needs to be drawn.
There needs to be, I mean,
that's not real love though, if you think about it.
Line somewhere. It's about being, you know, ultimately it's about you two complement each other perfectly, but you're also becoming better individuals who don't like it gets to the point where you don't need the other person around you to be better. You know, like maybe that person's helped you be better, and this goes for beyond just relationship, like this, like, you know, friends too. You know, it's, you can't be somebody's savior. They have to be their own savior.
And that was my,
you know,
that was my problem.
Because like
that was my issue.
There's this interview I watched a while back. This dude named Young Pharaoh. He's talking about, he used the analogy like man, if you ain't a good carpenter and you need a table built, and you hire me and your girl sees me build the table, she's gonna want to fuck me, not you. You know? It's like, and then like you constantly rely on somebody who knows more than you. They become your new master. Like, why would you want that for yourself? Like, you need to be your own savior and your own master.
That's, yeah, to go into that, like that was my issue with like the situation, because it's like I felt as though I wasn't helping myself enough. I was relying on someone to give me something that I needed to also gather for myself, which was my self-sustainability and like happiness, which I now I have a much better grasp on now, and I needed that I needed to be knocked into this headspace so that I can be better, so that, you know what I mean. And now I sort of like gone into this headspace of, now it's like, okay, like I can now be more self-sustainable and happy, not only for someone else but for myself as well. And I was talking to that earlier before you joined the stream about like it was when I was talking about, how we gain trust and faith in someone back that we've lost it with. And I said that it's not that the easy thing to say would be, oh, well, you just, talk to them and you tell them a bunch of stuff and you can shower them with gifts and stuff like that. No, that's not the answer.
Yeah.
The answer is really not to do all that, but it's to work on yourself. That's what you can do, especially if the reason you're in your situation is your fault. You need to, the best thing that you can do for yourself and for the other person is to work on yourself. Be better, so that you need to be better. It's basically saying I need to be better so that we can be better.
Yes,
that's what it is.
The individual comes first.
Then you worry about the bringing other people in, but you can't. How can you possibly? I've said this for a long time. How can you possibly love someone else when you can't even love yourself? When you can't, how? You can't.
That's what Jordan Peterson talks about a lot.
You think you can, but
you got to be responsible. You got to take care of yourself. Otherwise, you can't take care of anyone else. Especially, I know it's, as men, how are we going to protect the women we love if we can't take care of ourselves? She might second doubt us or second guess us if she sees weakness from us, I'm not saying women need our protection on everything, but it's like when it's the people you love, like they need to be able, like, even if it's, or like if you have kids, if your kids see mommy or daddy, like being, like if they see mommy and daddy breaking down at home, who are they gonna look up to? They're gonna bring that behavior. Kids learn from their parents first and foremost. People think it's the TV. It's not. We're a lot more like our parents than we'd like to think. Dude, I've realized I do have some of the bad from my parents in me. I've seen it. I've noticed it a lot, especially during all this, because I just sit down and just think about everything so much more now. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to recognize our individual.
Yeah.
Then from there on out,
yeah,
we can start helping others.
A lot of the time as men, it's all like we need to let go of a lot of things too. Like I had to learn to let go of like a lot. Like I had to let go of like the fact that the idea that I'm the one who's supposed to constantly like be the protection for other people, and like I'm supposed to be the one I'm always putting myself out there for other people. But like I needed to, like, it's okay sometimes for someone else to lend out the helping hand. Sometimes it's okay, like, and I had to let go of that, like that almost like ego and like self, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen. Like when I talk about like let's get literal. When I talk about like protection, I mean, if I'm talking about physical protection, I would much rather be out and I hear the alarm go off that someone broke, like telling me that someone broke a window, and in my head I'm like, my wife's got a gun by the bed, she's fine, you know. I'd much rather have that, you know, and that's exactly what I'm gonna have. I'm gonna have multiple guns in the house, you know, despite what people can have opinions on that as they may. But you know, it's like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be like, shit, only I can protect. I'm the man of the, you
Yeah.
know.
I
It's
mean, you both,
like I don't.
especially if you have kids, like you both need to come together. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
my kids are gonna know gun discipline from a very young age. You know, like I'm not gonna give them a gun to
oh
keep,
yeah, of
but like
course.
they're gonna, you know, they're gonna know. You know, they're gonna know safety. They're gonna know discipline. They're gonna know maintenance.
Yeah.
You know, this is America. We need to teach our kids that stuff. And that's another step to prevent, you know, some tragedies that happen, because a lot of the perpetrators end up being kids, you know, and I you can honestly blame that on the parents for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, like there's this crypto girl I follow on YouTube and Twitter. Bro, she be taking boxing. I be watching her fucking beat the shit out of her trainer. I'm like, god damn. She talks about all the time, like, bro, I'm alpha as fuck, but my husband's more alpha. But like, he doesn't need to stop somebody for me. I can kick their ass myself. I'm like, fuck yeah. I won't mess with you. I'm not gonna test that out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, especially with like going back to the whole like relationship aspect of all this, I feel like okay, let's talk about like what's everybody has their like ideal relationship, but like what for you, like what's the ideal relationship for you? Like what does it feel like? What is the dynamic? What is the all of that stuff, like, because everybody has their own dynamic and stuff like that. Like, one's okay, you have an alpha, then you have this, but one person does this and that. But like, what is it to you? What is a dynamic between a man and a woman to you, like especially in your own relationship? What does it mean for a man and a woman to be together and love each other?
I mean, I guess I kind of have two answers. I mean, I guess I kind of don't really have I don't think we've been together long enough
to know your dynamic yet.
Yeah, okay. We don't live together.
Well,
so
okay.
I can say what I think it is.
Even without the living together, like not even the living together, but what does it mean just to be in a relationship, like in that, you know, like that exclusive relationship, like where two people love each, like what does that mean for you? Like,
I think men and women were always meant to complement each other perfectly. You know? Growing up, the man, like at least what I've seen in Indian culture, you know, in learning Hinduism as from a very young age, like the man of the house is obviously like considered the protector, the physical presence of the house, the one that guides you mentally. But then the mother is the spiritual presence. You know, the mother is supposed to be the one. Like as a kid, the people that my mom and grandmother are the ones that told me the stories of the gods as a kid, you know? I remember when I was young and small, I remember when I used to fit on the same couch as my mom, like, or with my mom. We would wake up early and watch like the TV show like that they would make about the gods of India, you know? Like, I think that's the dynamic. I think, you know, obviously women can be physically, you know, too, and men can also like have that spirituality in them. But I think it's a good because the mom is the one that's, you know, women are just better with kids. They really are. So I think it's good that the one that's doing the primary nurturing is the one that's helping them understand that vibe, you know, that vibe to life of how to get through life and be, you know, kind of, what's the word? I guess I guess how to maintain the right vibe through life, through everything that happens, like to maintain that good frequency,
Yeah.
and then what you learn from your father is how to be let's say you're a boy, you're taught to respect, you're the boy looks up to you and how you treat your mom, and that's how he's going to treat girls at school, so you got to set the example, because men physically in general are just more imposing than women. So if he sees dad physically treating mom like a queen, then he's gonna go to school and treat the girls with respect,
Mm-hmm.
and then same with mom. If mom is treating dad like a king, and then the girl will go to school and she's obviously not gonna like I'm not saying she's gonna like be putting it out to every guy, but she's gonna understand that when someone treats you right, then there is a way to treat them right back. I don't know if I said that right. I don't know. I don't. I'm not a woman, so I can't entirely speak to their part. But I know, as for men, how you treat your and I've always thought about what would happen if I had a son. Because the vast majority of people who commit crime are men and young boys. So I always think about it like, how would I need to present myself in front of my son and conduct myself with my wife? So I think about that more. I can't help but think about, I can't really think about what the woman should do to me. As long as she's treating me right, I'm okay. I don't know, but like, I think about how I would have to treat the woman. You got to treat your woman like a queen,
of course,
for your son to at least have respect for other girls.
Exactly. Do you think, does the world I'm gonna ask this and then I'll give my answer to the question. Does the thought of the uncertainty of how the world will be or how the world will change deter you from wanting to have kids or not? Does that kind of like when you think do I really want to bring have you ever asked yourself, do I really want to bring my kids into this world? Has that ever been a question?
Not really. No, no. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's such a beta way of thinking. Like people I'm not gonna, it might sound harsh.
Call me a beta. I've asked myself that question before.
Okay, I feel like a lot of people think about consequences of what if I end up with a kid, because they have sex before marriage.
Yeah.
But I think about it in terms of, once I'm financially completely stable, I have a house, I have a great job, then would I be willing? Yeah. And I feel like every person who understands life and bringing good people into, like I said, being human is in itself a divine act. What we have is, the stories I heard as a kid. The angels in heaven are very jealous of us, even though that sounds hard to believe, because they don't have life. We are the ones blessed with life. I feel like it's our duty to bring as much good life into this world as possible. Of course, bad ones pop up, but we need to counter that with good. And personally, I feel like anyone who's conscious, their answer will always be, yes, I want to have kids, or yes, I want to bring my kids into this world. Some people, I get it, they don't like kids. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that's different.
Like, a close friend of mine really doesn't like kids. Jordan Peterson has talked about like that, like those type of people, his response was pretty much, life gets pretty lonely when you're 40.
Mm.
You know, your parents were there to take care of you, you know, when you were young. Once you're old and brittle, who's going to take care of you? You know, if you raise good kids, they're obviously going to take care of you. You know, you don't want to just end up in some nursery. You know, that's another motivation to have kids, I guess. I don't want to just end up in a nursery. You know, so yeah, like,
I think some people just haven't met the right person they want to have kids with. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I've looked at
fair.
someone and thought, dude, I've looked at someone and thought, I want to have her babies, like, so bad. Like, I would, like, it kind of eradicated all those feelings about, oh my God, what if my kids have to go through this? And it eradicated all those feelings. Like, when you look at the right person, sometimes you're just like, damn, like, I would have her kids. And, like, we'd be, and we'd have beautiful kids, and, like, and just, and I'd, you know what I mean? And that sort of thought happens.
Yeah.
But I think going all the way back to now, my answer to the whole relationship thing, men and women, and what is it? I think my ideal relationship I've always thought of as, my relationship has always been, it's almost like a best friendship to me. That's what my relationships sort of feel like, or that's what I aspire for them to feel like. I want it to feel like a relationship in which it's not bound by the constant stereotypes of a labeled relationship of boyfriend and girlfriend, because then that puts pressure on people. That puts like this unnecessary pressure on people of, oh my God, I have to do this and I have to do that, and we have to do these things, and you have to post me all over your Instagram, and you have to put me, no, like, I don't follow any of that. I don't follow any sort of societal rules for a lot of things in my life, and that's always just how I've lived.
And I don't like posting like my loved ones on Instagram. I'm, you know,
low key.
It sounds stupid. It's low key and it sounds stupid, but like I don't, you know, if I make enemies I don't want people knowing, you know. And like, of course, if anyone really wants to find out, they can easily find it, but it's like, I'm not gonna like willingly put it out there.
Yeah,
you know.
And I don't mind, like, sometimes like some women do and stuff like that, and I don't mind. I don't mind all that. Like, hey, it's whatever you want. Like, I don't mind either way, but it's like, I don't want to fall into any sort of stereotype. I don't do that because I don't put necessarily like pressure on people to want to have to be like anything. My thing is like, okay, what I have with someone is like, that's our thing, and it's sacred, and it's like, we know what's going on, kind of thing, and that's all that matters to me. Like, as long as we're good, as long as I'm good with this person, like, it's all good. And it just feels like you're best friends. It feels just like that. You hang out a lot, you this and that, and that's it. And it just feels natural, and it feels right, and it's just, and then from that, like, that's love to me. Like, that's,
I wouldn't even say best friends. I would just say, you connect to this person the very best that you can.
Very best you can, and different from other people, and that's what makes it different from someone else.
Every person you connect with is different.
Yeah, everybody's different. Yeah.
You connect with your mom differently than you connect with your dad. You know? So
it's just different.
It's just different. You know? Obviously the husband and wife are typically supposed to connect. They're supposed to be the perfect connection, you know? So
that's when that marriage, you take that next leap until you finally solidify that connection. And my thing is also like teamwork. That's another thing, is like, I want it to feel like I want to feel like a team. Like with my partner, I want to feel like we could tell each other anything. I want to feel like we could just go to each other whenever, and that's the kind of, you know, I want to feel like I've got you and you got me type thing. Like, but my whole thing recently has been like, I feel like I put too much like of like, I've got someone and I didn't really want someone to have to get me kind of thing. And it goes back to like that ego thing of like, I didn't feel like I wanted the help, because I felt like I wanted to be in a spot to where like I wouldn't need any help. I wanted to be in a spot to where like I was independent enough to where like I was good to where nobody would have to stick out that hand to me. But that's not always the case. That's not always life. Sometimes you do need that hand to be stuck out, and I had to accept that.
And like there are certain things like my girl or my family can't help me with, you know?
Yeah.
Because like you know who they are, you know? So like I don't think I could go to them for with anything, you know. But like, you can definitely like tell them about it. Like there are certain things where I would rather go to like maybe my coaches. And it doesn't even have to be fitness related. Like me and my high school coach Coy, um, he's known me for over 10 years now. So I feel like I could go to him for more stuff than I could go to my family for, you
Yeah.
know. And obviously my family's known me longer, but he's been with me throughout my entire journey of fitness. He's seen me at my worst. He's seen me, I feel like I could go to him for stuff like that,
Mhm.
like, my, and it's also because he's had similar experience.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
like I know my mom wasn't an athlete when she was a kid, so she's not gonna really get it, and that's not a knock. I could tell her, but like,
Yeah,
I know,
of course. Yeah, some people just
It's-
don't need to get it. Yeah.
some people, yeah, my girl's not an athlete.
Yeah.
Like not even close.
Mhm.
But,
I feel like it's a lot of it's like
fine.
honesty though too in a relationship, because I feel like I've had this problem with a previous relationship where like I wasn't telling her like what the issues were. I was keeping everything like to myself because I felt like, even though maybe she couldn't, maybe she could have, maybe she couldn't, but I feel like the honesty needs to be there too, regardless if they can help or not. Like if they ask you what's wrong, you need to tell them. Like if they ask you what's up, you need to be honest. Like you can't be like, oh, nothing, and bottle things up and like just not tell your partner. Like especially if like you love them or you're in it for the long term, like they need to know what's going on, at least at the minimum. At least do that. Tell them, hey, this is going on, and what you're gonna do about it, especially if something's really bothering you, and especially if it's affecting the relationship. Like that's a big one. Like if it's something that's affecting the relationship and you can't even tell your partner what's going on, like that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because honesty is key, and that's really, I don't really ask for anything in a relationship except for trust, honesty, and communication. Communication is so big. It's so big. Like you need to be able to talk. You need to communicate. You need to communicate what's going on. You need to communicate like what the problems are, or else assumptions are going to be made, and then things are just going to go sour. So communication, trust, honest, like those are really the only things I ever ask for out of anyone. Other than that, everything else is like a bonus. But if we have those things, the key things, then hey, we're good. That's it. Like that's really, it doesn't have to be that complicated. Like love doesn't have to be as complicated as people think it is. It really doesn't. It's simple to me when everything's clicking. It's so simple. Everything just clicks. It fits like that perfect puzzle piece. It just works, because I feel like if you have all the key things, the trust, the communication, the honesty, I feel like, can anything really stop you at that point? And if there's really like true love there, I don't think anything can really knock it down. That's why that you see people married 30, 40, 50, you know how many long lasting couples I've seen married for that amount of years, like especially being a server, how many anniversaries I've been through, how many things I've seen, how many, like I've asked like, oh, how many are they, like, oh, 25 years. So bro, that doesn't just happen willy-nilly. You don't just randomly just get married for 25 years. Like that doesn't just happen. Like that's true, that's real. You know what I mean? That's they've got it, they've done it. They've got the key foundation of the relationship. They've understood the things that need to be done.
That's pretty rare for American marriages.
So anyways, y'all, I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, if you come on camera, what are you doing? And yeah, if you do want to join one of these episodes, like I said in the beginning of the episode, just either comment or just DM me here on Instagram, and we'll go ahead and make that happen. Next episode 5, will be next Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, hopefully I'll catch some of y'all in the next one. Peace.